What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dobrunsky here. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the most valuable magic items in Diablo 2. So this has been a highly requested video and I'm finally getting around to making it. But if there's one thing that you'll notice about these items is that they're typically very niche and they can be very powerful, but you're often sacrificing a lot of other beneficial stats just to get a little bit more damage or maybe a little bit more % magic find. So they're very niche case, but they can be very powerful. So I do hope you guys enjoy this video and you find it informative. A quick little reminder before we jump in though, just wanted to let you guys know that I do stream twice a week on Twitch. So any follows over there on that platform would be very much appreciated. Got the link for my Twitch channel in the description below. With that being said guys, let's jump in. So there is a lot of items to cover in this video. I'm going to do my best to do it as briefly as I possibly can. Again, if I miss anything specific, just let me know in the comment section below. I do occasionally make mistakes, but for the most part, I think I will talk about and cover the majority of the most sought after magic items. But before I actually do jump in, I just wanted to talk about a couple reoccurring themes with these items. The first is that they're typically extremely difficult, rare to find, and sought after. That is just the theme about magic items. They are not very common, although I actually do have a few budget useful items, but for the most part, they're extremely difficult to find, and then they're really rare and expensive. So if you're looking for that chase item, these top magic items might be for you. And the other big theme here is that they are very niche case. So they typically are either excelling in total max damage or maybe sockets for different IS breakpoints or more minus res from facets, while at the same time sacrificing other beneficial stats elsewhere. So if you're going to use some of these items, you're probably going to have to make up res elsewhere on the rest of your gear or your inventory. Just going to make that very clear, because you might look at these, be like, well, why would you use that? It has nothing else. But again, they're niche case, kind of focusing on pure damage. So the first item that I want to talk about is a Jeweler's Monarch of Deflection, or JMod. JMod is for short. The Jeweler's stands for 4 open sockets, and the Deflecting stands for the 30 faster block rate, 20% increased chance of blocking. So you're looking for magic Monarchs with this mod, or these two mods, and then you'll typically socket lightning facets in the shield. So just imagine 4 lightning facets. That's going to give you minus 20 enemy lightning res and plus 20 lightning damage. That is going to give you a max damage setup for Javelins, again at the expense of a lot of other beneficial stats. Another really interesting group of items is magic claws. So I have these examples here for the assassin. Typically, you'll dual wield these for the most amount of plus skills you can get for lightning sentry. So there's 2 variations. One is 3 to traps, 3 to lightning sentry. The other is 2 to assassin skills and 3 to lightning sentry. If you want to get 2 open sockets, you'll usually just Larzik quest these. You have a 50-50 shot of getting 1 or 2 open sockets, so they're very difficult, rare to find, and it really sucks when you get 1 open socket. But you'll usually socket these with 15 IS all res jewels. There is also a variant that has increased attack speed, so if you want to use the skill Fade, you'll want to use a claw that has IS on it on the main hand. You don't need IS on the offhand, so you can have a plain plus 6 light sentry on the offhand as long as you have IS on the main hand, and that setup is typically used with Fade, whereas a setup like this with just plain traps and your makeup for the res, the jewels, you'll typically use Burst of Speed with this setup. Moving on to some more budget items that are very powerful actually. Again, kind of going against the grain, most of these items are super rare, but I have here 2 different versions of bow sticks. So you can shop for these from Anya, I think as early as Nightmare. Maybe not, it might be Hell difficulty, but regardless, you dual wield these on the offhand. They're not too challenging to shop for, and it gives you plus 6 to battle lures, so that's a huge amount of plus life for you or for your party. Another really powerful example of some budget magic items, wands. So you can either go for a life tap wand or for a lower res wand. Now, I typically like to use lower res wands on niche setups to maximize my elemental damage. I actually used one on the offhand with my full Tal's Fire Sorceress when I took out Uber Tristram with a Firewall Sorceress build. That was really fun. It might not seem like much, but you can shop for up to a level 3 lower res charge wand, and that gives you a massive amount of additional minus res to just crank out your elemental damage against monsters. It's also a great way of dealing with immunities. You're dealing with some immunities with some characters with more budget setup. So if you're a Javelin or a Trapsin, using a lower res wand on the offhand can be a great way to kind of break some lightning immunities or focus extra damage on an endgame boss like Diablo or Bale. And then the life tap variant is great for mostly for a smiter, but really any character that's trying to do Ubers that wants life tap that doesn't have Drax or Exile or even Last Wish. But I mean, if you have Last Wish, you're not using a life tap one anyways, but it's a great way to get an easy source of life tap. There are a few Circlets that are actually really powerful as well, and I have a couple examples here. So this is an example of a Circlet that would benefit a Fire Sorceress. Again, I really only think a Fire Sorceress or maybe other characters like a Wind Druid benefit from a Circlet like this, because if you're a Lightning Sorceress, you probably want to be using Griffins. If you're Magic Finding, you're probably using Shaco. And if you're a Blizzard Sorceress and you want max damage, you're probably using Nightwings. But there is some niche case uses where a +3 to skill Circlet with 20 FCR or a +2 to all skills and 20 FCR with 2 open sockets can be a really niche helmet to use. It can be pretty powerful. And the other counterpart here is an Artesian's Diadem of Speed. This is usually used on very late game top tier Bosons. So you'll put Ruby Jewels of Fervor. So I have a couple examples up here. So 15 IS ED Jewels, you will socket in a helm like this so that you can get an insane amount of increased attack speed, damage, and faster unlock. All 3 powerful stats that a Boson really wants. Moving on to some more Javazon stuff, I have a pair of 320 Javazon gloves. These are really good if you want max damage, but I personally prefer 220 gloves because you can often roll extra beneficial stats like Lightning Res, Fire Res, Magic Find, or Dexterity. But again, if you want that extra plus skill for that little bit more damage, 320 gloves can be the best case use for you. And then pairing that, there's also 640 Javelins, so +6 to Javelin and Spear skills and 40 IS. So typically you'll see this paired with a J-Mod, then gloves like this. Moving on to some jewelry, I have a couple examples here of 40 MF rings. These are again very difficult to find, but if you want a pure magic finding setup, they're 10% more MF than dual Nagels, so 80 MF versus 60. If you really want to, you can identify magic rings. I typically don't even think that they're that good because a Pit Circer really benefits from the attack rating on Nagel rings, but again, it's up to you and it's an option that I did want to cover. And then for the amulet counterparts, 3 to a specific class skill, N% MF, can be pretty powerful as well. So if you're magic finding in the pits with the Lightning Sorceress or Ancient Tunnels with the Blizzard Sorceress, you're not using 3-piece towels, a 3 to cold skills 35 MF amulet can be really good if you pair it with like an Isted Skulders, Isted Aussie, or 6 Isted Crystal Sword. Any of those very, very rare, super niche max MF setups, amulets like this can be pretty powerful. Moving on to the last 2 items, I have a 2 open socket, 6 to Tornado, Druid Pelt. So this typically socketed with like Perfect Rubies or Isturns for MF can be a very powerful choice. So you're getting +6 to your Tornado, life and mana based on character level, and then whatever your additional sockets are that you want to put into this to make the pelt a little bit stronger. Again, you're losing out on stuff like if you wanted to go 163 FCR, you'd probably want to use a 220 Circlet. If you wanted MF, you'd want to go Shaco. Jalals for more overall approach, getting the res and everything else, but this is a great max damage setup, although it's extremely rare. And then moving on to the final item here, I have a Jeweler's Archon Plate of the Whale. This is again typically paired with a Boson, physical damage Boson, and you'll put Ruby Jewels of Fervor. So 15 IS enhanced damage jewels, that'll give you 60 IS, a bunch of ED, and a bunch of plus life. And you'll often see this paired with a helmet like this or a diadem, again with more Ruby Jewels of Fervor, or tons of IS, tons of enhanced damage, and then additional plus life and faster unlock. So that's a very difficult rare item to find, but if you ever are lucky enough to get something like that, definitely hold on to it. But that basically wraps up everything that I wanted to cover in this video. I do believe that that's the majority of the more beneficial magic items in the game. Again, if you think I missed anything, just let me know in the comment section below. I don't think that's, I think that pretty much covers the majority of everything. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, as always, if you guys could throw a like on it, share it, and even consider subscribing if you're new to my channel. I post new weekly content on YouTube, and I do stream twice a week on Twitch. So any follows on Twitch or subs on YouTube would be amazing. Other than that, guys, hope you have a fan-frickin-tastic day, and I'll catch you on my next video or live stream. Peace out.